Hello, welcome to Office Hours. You got the John and Pat show here today. Welcome, welcome. We have a couple people. I think more will be joining us as we go. So we have got a couple questions in, but as always, we are wide open to anything else that you might pop up. So you have a couple choices. You can unmute. I think everybody's able to do that and submit a question or just interrupt us and or put it in the chat. Send an email, text, carrier pigeon, whatever you got. We'll take your questions as they come in. The first thing we did get an inquiry that's about two inquiries. One was about drag and drop, and the second was about our photo gallery. So going a little bit different from what we've covered in the past, we're going to go through some kind of old features of Titan that people might not be aware of, and just a little bit about drag and drop. So John and I were going to do a quick demo of how that works. And I have opened here a Titan instance 7.4, our latest version of Titan. And I'm just going to open up a page, Fred Pike page on the off nav section of our NWS Digital website. So this is our internal instance here. And I want to pick on Fred and make a mess out of his page. And actually, I'm going to delete this. That's the image I just dragged onto there. So step you would do when drag and drop is open up any freeform anywhere, any page, anytime. And I'm going to just show you a quick demo. So first of all, you want to position the cursor where you want the image to go. So I put it at the end over here and I hit enter. So it's just dropped down. I don't know if you can see it flashing over there, but it's over on the left-hand side in the bottom. So that's essentially where the image is going to land. And I don't have to click the image button anymore. And off screen, because you can't see it, I'm not sharing that screen, I have an image that I want to drag on here. And I'm going to just drag it onto the screen and boom, pops onto the screen. You can hit a couple spaces, backspace to put it where you want. I can double click on that image now and you can see it. It uploaded it when it drag and dropped it. The original size was 225 by 225. Titan automatically made these other two sizes. If the original size had been 1,000 by 1,000 or whatever, it would have made some additional sizes. But since it only makes sizes smaller than whatever you've uploaded, it made these two things. So right now you're seeing the 160 by 160. I'm going to just pop it up to the original size. Say done. You'll see it made it a little bit bigger. And we're done. So if I go and hit publish, that page is now live. I can pop up and just pop up a preview. You can see. And that image is in there, Fred Pike. And we've got just this little bit and piece underneath there. And so let me show you kind of what happened behind the scenes. So on this page, we drag this up there. So where did that image go? You might be curious about. And if you aren't curious, you should be curious because we should know where did that image go? So I'm going to just collapse this down a little bit so you can see quickly. And I had configured it just earlier today so that all those images go into a test folder. And so if you look inside of here, you can see I've been practicing a couple times, but here is the image. I've uploaded it more than once. And you got multiple copies of that. So how does it know to put it in this test folder? John, where do I go to configure that again?
Well, there's actually a couple of places.
Okay.
One, an administrator of the system can go into Titan admin, and then for each website that you're managing, you could have a different location where images go by default when they're dragged in. The easiest place to go is to the content sites section.
Okay.
Find the site that you're managing this default location for, and it'll be on the general tab way at the bottom in a input. I think it's called like default upload folder or something like that.
Scroll down over here and we're looking for default upload folder.
Yep, there it is.
Default upload folder.
Yep, the help text will tell you also this is the destination folder for anything that's added via drag and drop, right? So, and it's for any of the freeform editors. So if you're thinking, well, could I do that with a form block? Yep. That's got a WYSIWYG editor. Maybe you're working in a data site that has a freeform area. If you go to the data site instead of the content site, you can configure the default location for those drag and drop uploads. They can all be different.
So if I was drag and dropping, I was writing blogs, which might be more common,
right?
I can have a different place for, in fact, I'll bet you it's not even configured. Oh, here it is. So NWS blogs. So somebody drags and drops, they're going to end up in the 2020 blogs folder.
Exactly.
All by itself. Okay. And if I wanted to change that folder, I just browse and pick a different one.
Yep. You can even create a new one at this point because you got all those standard options that we give you with that Content Explorer.
Yep. So
but that's like the main way. So and there's a few levels of this, right? So that's the main way an admin can say, hey, if anybody's working in this area, put their images here. But let's say you're persnickety like me, and I want my images in my folder, right? I got a Jon K folder, and I want to control where mine go different from what the admin said. Well, if you're in the WYSIWYG editor, there's a utility that you can open up. So maybe go ahead and go back to that, Patrick. Find that Fred page, and which is right in your recently accessed.
Where are we? Recently accessed about Fred Pike. There it is. Look at that. How handy.
Yeah. So if you go back down to that freeform,
okay,
either one is fine. Any one of them.
Yep.
There'll be in the middle toolbar, you see the gear icon kind of towards the end.
Right there, yep.
Yep. Those are your drag and drop settings. So it's telling you right here, the default destination is that /test folder, but your system default destination can be something else. And your site default destination can be it. So the distinction I make when I set this up is for the whole, no matter where I am in the system, this is where I want them to go, unless I'm working in this site, and then this is where I want it to go, right? So it's giving you a global spot by default, which will be used if there isn't a more specific default.
I see. So I could actually go in here. I'm just going to go under test, and I could make a folder called Pat, which I just did before, and say that's where I want so this system-wide, this means not for just this WYSIWYG, but all WYSIWYG.
Anyone. Right.
Anyone. So I'm changing it one time here, but I'm changing it for all freeform editors for me specifically. So if I'm logged in to the workstation as Pat, logged in as Pat, and I do a drag and drop, all my images are going to go over here. But if I just wanted it to be only for the NWS Digital site and not the Titan CMS site, then this would be just for the NWS Digital site.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I think the help text gives you that similar description.
All right. I think it does. Okay, so we got all sorts of different places where we can put different folders. So if I said my default system is use test Pat, is that Pat 1? Is that right? Did I name it?
Oh, must be. Yep.
Pat, interesting.
There must be several Pat folders in our environment.
I guess
I'm very surprised.
Yeah. And now if I drag a different image onto here, there it is. Have your kids work smarter. That was actually a bigger image. You could see it resized over there. So you can see the original is quite large. I can say done. I put a couple images on there. All right. So I got a couple inspirational posters on there, and I hit done over here. Now, if I go and I look to see where those images went, I got test, Pat. Yeah, let's save this for now. Let's save this. There it is. There's my 2 images that I just uploaded, and so on and so forth. So, John, I was trying to trip you up just before we got on the call over here, and I said, hey, if I move this image to someplace else, let's make a new folder over here called. I make a new folder called. I want to make a new folder.
Create.
Oh, up and top. Thank you. Create a folder, and I'm going to name it John, and hit done. All right, so now I got a John folder. So I'm going to take this image over here, and I'm going to rearrange it to make this more orderly for everybody. And I'm going to say move that image over to. So is that going to break that page now? Where I just moved this image, and I had put it on this Fred page up above over here. Is that going to make a mess out of that?
No, because the nice thing about the way we do it is we assign a URL to a file when you upload it.
Yeah.
And regardless of where you move it, it's going to keep that URL. So unless you go back to the properties of that image and change its URL to something, and then subsequently go to the freeform editor and update it to have a different URL in the source code, nothing has to change, right? I'm just moving it from one location to another in our database, and the URL path to that isn't going to change. So there will be no broken image, and things will be, continue to work just the way you would expect.
So you can rearrange stuff for your own purposes for kind of keeping track of stuff without having to worry about those image links breaking wherever they have been referenced. So you don't have to go back. It's incorrect to say it fixed it automatically, but it just never breaks.
Right.
Because
It didn't
image
have,
is
it
much.
didn't change anything to then have to fix. So
Right.
that's the nice part.
Okay. Also did a cool thing over here. I like this Fred thing with the circle on there. So how do I get a circle onto these images over here? I got two of them on there.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean it's important to point out that circles is not like some magic thing that happens. It kind of has to be built into your design. And since we have circles, we kind of just need to figure out, well, how did the circle get applied to that image?
Yeah.
And
Let's go up and take a look. And actually, I think I can see it right over here. I'm looking over here and I see stripe icon and the word circles is listed over here as one of this block.
yep. And for anybody that's hasn't seen that or is unaware of it, it's giving you an indication of the CSS class names that have been applied to the entire block in the stack. So that stripe icon, that's going to be some kind of stylistic changes to that block that make it look like a stripe with icons in it, going off of the name only. But because I don't know exactly how that works, but the circles is some addendum to that styling so that images within that stripe format that makes it look like a circle. So, yep. So if you apply the same circles CSS class to that other freeform, then I would assume the styling will flow through. And yeah, sure enough.
Look at that. All right.
Sometimes we do those implementations of CSS so that you can apply it directly to the image within the WYSIWYG. Some of you guys might be familiar with the styles dropdown in the freeform editor. It's possible to hook up those CSS classes to the editor interface so you can do things like float it to the left, float it to the right, apply different shapes and things like that to the image within the WYSIWYG. In this case, it's for the whole block, but your implementation may be just slightly different.
So each one of the styles over here is different, and these are many different options that are available. All right. Any questions on any of this? Kind of showing drag and drop, the ability to drag images on there. I've just dragged two onto here. They went uploaded automatically to a folder that either the webmaster has set as a system default, or I have personalized and individualized where those images go. And then after that, being able to apply styles and other stuff to images. So I think you can do more than one image at the same time, or it's just one.
I'm pretty sure you can do more than one.
Well, let's just go bold. Let's go big, and because either go big or go home. So I'm going to grab two more images from my thing, and I'm going to drag them. Oh, you know what?
Oh.
I don't think that's not open in editing mode. So let's open it up as an editor. There we go. It's not going to work if it's not opened up for editing. So I'm dragging a couple more. I'm not sure where my cursor is. There we go. 1, 2. Look at that. So you can drag more than one image onto the thing, and all those things went into the upload folder. So drag and drop. This is very nicely arranged, small, medium, large, all the way down. All right, drag and drop. This feature has been in Titan since
That's a good question. I can find the exact version, but it was probably early 6.
Yeah, so we've had this for a long time. It's one of those features that everybody said, got to have drag and drop or we won't buy your CMS. We said, okay, so we put drag and drop in there. And then we found out that not many people use it.
Yep, exactly.
But whatever. We have these standard features everybody's looking for. All right.
Well, 6.9. 6.9.
Okay. All right, cool. The next thing people asked about, as long as we're on the list over here, was multi-tag and edit. So I'm going to just get out of here. And this is another one of those kind of advanced features that not everyone is aware of, but kind of a good example of multi-tag and edit. Oops, I'm trying to get the screen a little bit bigger over here. Is if we were on, let's say our blogs page. So we're going to go to stories, client stories. We got our blogs. And actually I could do it over here in, I think the blogs are in a data node. So you can do it over here also. So we're drilling into our blogs. There's all our blogs. No, we had
Expand it out.
Is it? I'm sorry. You know what? You guys are sitting on top of me. There we go. Okay. So here's our Northwoods blogs. Thank you. All right. And so I have some of these things, and this top 10 questions to ask your webmaster is a great one, but the date is a little bit old. And I know that when people come to a blog, that the date kind of matters. And so one of the things I could do is tag more than one of these things at the same time and say, all of these things on 3 different years, I want to edit their properties all at the same time. And I go to properties here, and I could change the start date or end date, or frankly, the dates that are displaying over there by putting in a custom date over here and then changing the XSL for what's going to get displayed. Another more common use of this would be, I don't know, they probably don't share a page title, but I could change all their page titles at the same time. So that's a bad idea. Sorting, I want all 3 of these to sort up to the top. So I'm going to give them the same date. Don't really care, but I want them to pop up to the top of the list because my filter block or my data list block is sorting based on this sort date. And I want them to be popped up. So I want to change all 3 of them at the same time. Another example might be for this particular thing. Oh, showing what's new. I want all 3 of these in a what's new block on the home page. So I want to promote them. So I can tag them and say, make them available and set a new date for all 3 of them for what's new. That's probably a very good practical. And I think the last thing that people do often is taking a whole bunch of them and changing something like the theme or the display. Where's my display over here?
Well, you're working with the data site.
Data site, thank you. Right. Not over there.
Changing a page layout, that's a really good example.
Yeah. So let's go up to the website over here. Let's go back to stories. Let's go over to blog. And actually, I got to find one where there's more than one thing. Client stories. So client stories over here, we've got some of these case studies. And oh, this would be a great example. So we have all these case studies. We have a standard theme. And now we've developed a new theme. We've tested it off nav. Everything's looking good the way we want these to display. And I want all of them at the same time to change, all of them to take the new one. I can take all of them at the same time, go up to properties, and then go to the advanced properties and say page layout. And I want these all, and I give it the new layout that I've designed. And all of them would get that new layout all at the same time. Hit done, save, publish, and you've changed all of them at the same time. Any of you guys, just polling our audience out there, has anybody used multi-tag and edit inside of their instance of Titan? We'll give everybody a few seconds. And if not, did you know that, how many people knew this existed? I'll take all of the stunned
We
silence.
got a lot of chats saying no.
Did not know. All right, thank you.
Did not know.
Okay. Yeah. Any other good common use cases for multi-tag and edit, John? Where else would people use this?
I will say more times than not, if I was working in content and I was doing a lot of mass changes, it might be things like reorganizing the sort order or adjusting the navigation zones, things that, I was like, okay, I need all of these pages to show up in, the side nav, the left nav, and they weren't. Or I'm making a new mega menu and I want a whole bunch of pages to now show or not show in the large mega menu. Then I can check off all the ones I want and get them set the way I want. The thing that is unique, I think, about this interface is, let's say you were changing the page layout, Patrick, and you change it, you pick a new one. It's going to check the box there that's kind of to the left to indicate this property is going to get set to this value across all the items. And it's the only thing that's changing on all of these items. And that's really, I think, kind of a unique thing about the way we do these multi-edit type operations. It's not like we're going through every property and saving. We're only changing the things that you changed. And so that's really neat. There's also things that you can change other than properties. If you noticed when Patrick was checking off the different pages, the ribbon at the top dynamically changed. For one, you can't change blocks or content across multiple items. That would be
makes no sense.
That makes no sense.
Right,
but if you choose the more, you can see, well, you can update workflow. You could update security. Those two in particular, I feel like a more common use in extranets or intranets and things where you're trying to lock down, or if you've got a lot of authors and editors, you might want to make a whole branch have some special settings, or 2 or 3 pages in a branch have special settings. Then you can check them off once and go to the appropriate tab and make those updates. Stats is unique in that it's more like a report, but tags,
huge. Probably,
Yeah.
I'll bet you that's I misspoke. I thought layout changes was number one. Tags is probably number one. So going into databases, file folders, whatever, and you need to pick a whole bunch of images all at once and tag them with some new values so they show up correctly in your product catalog. Being able to multi-tag and edit on tags is a very powerful feature.
Right.
Select all the images and apply the new attributes, change attributes. You can add them and remove them all at the same time inside of the tag editor, and it'll unify all that stuff
Yep.
inside there. Okay.
And a lot of people will then do, additional filtering, right? If you're working in client stories, our example shows 107. Well, you might have several hundred pages in a branch of the tree, and you don't necessarily want to work with all of them. Maybe there's only maybe one here and one here at the end, and it's maybe a pain in the patoot to find them all. Well, just use the filter results, filter them based on a name or some value that we can get in the view, maybe a date or something along those lines to reduce your list, find the items, check, and then change your properties. So there's lots of ways to kind of spin through various pieces of content and use the various filtering features and then get to where you want to do your multi-tag and adjust the security, adjust the tags, change a property, that type of thing.
All right. Assuming no questions on multi-tag and edit, our last topic that somebody had submitted a question on was on just image galleries. What do you got for image galleries? And I wanted to show a couple. We've got Wisconsin Dells has a nice image gallery. What's your experience like? And so here we have Instagram. We have I Love the Dells right over here. So these are all images that were submitted by clients, and they're showing up in a nice collection. We've got actually a link inside of these, I think, out to an Instagram page. All the different people who have tagged their image or offered a photo that they wanted to share. And now it's kind of the public engagement over here. So if you put in Love the Dells into your Instagram post and you hashtag it with that, the Dells people watch for these. They find nice, beautiful images like this, and they click them up and a little bit of text. And here's this pulled right off of Instagram. And so they added this inside there with a little bit of flourish. So tiny bit of curation done, but cool image. Somebody, and then we've got a little shadow box being able to flip through. Beautiful. We got the audio on that one. So that's an image gallery that's put together over there. I think we also had another one over here on Irish Fest. Here's the Irish Fest website again down on the bottom. Another one where just a collection of images that were taken during Irish Fest. And this one doesn't have a click through, but we have a little bit of animation, a little bit of motion on top of every one of the images as you hover over them. So nice little feel good to drop photo blocks on the bottom. We have a sample photo block on our Titan demo site we have internally for our coffee shop demo site. You click on the image over here, you can scroll through. So let's go through just an intro quick on how this is built. And I'll use the Titan site. We are in a demo site for Titan and an off nav. We have a photo gallery off nav. And here is the photo gallery block. Double click on it. And for a couple of complicated reasons, there's no preview at the moment, but I can edit this block, or if I just pop up preview, you can see what this looks like. And working on why that the preview isn't working really well, but I'll show you a little bit more in a second here. So here's the photo block. Click on edit on photo block, and you say, I would like you to go and make a photo block out of this folder. So go and find in the file folders, packages, Titan demo. Here's a photo gallery, whole bunch of images in that gallery. So if I cancel, actually I'm going to cancel out, and we're going to come back off now, photo gallery. So if I go Titan demo sites and packages, Titan demo packages, Titan demo, and we come all the way down over here, photo gallery. Here's the raw collection of all the images that were uploaded over here. So this is a case where you could bulk upload all these images. If you have a folder on your hard drive, just grab all of them, select all of the images. And when you do create or upload, is it done through the upload content over here? Nope, we do it up.
Create.
Great, yeah.
Yep.
And so then you just go choose files over here, and I can collect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I could upload all of those images would come onto my hard drive. And they go into this folder, which I'm not going to do. And so once those images are in there, then again, we go back up here to the block, edit the block. So you're picking a folder where all those images have been uploaded. And then We have a medium square, large square, large square. So I'm going to change one of these values just to get a sense for what this looks like. So the original images were not square. They were a variety of different sizes. So I'm going to change this to original. I'm going to hit done and I'm going to publish. And I'm just going to hit refresh on this page. So here's our image gallery. And as you may have recalled, as I clicked on each one of these, previously it brought up a square image. And now I'm going to click on this and you can see that one's tall, this one's wide, all different sizes, these images as they're coming through. So they're not unified. We haven't applied a style to it that says, just take the square version of this image as we go through here. So they're all different variations. So that's kind of how that works. Double click, edit. So that was original versus square. I could show small thumbnails, show next previous buttons. And actually, I kind of made a little bit of a mess over here because I enabled the page name, the thing, and then with a link. I don't think there wasn't no teaser text on these, so there's nothing to show. But if I said page names, you can actually see that these image files now are showing up automatically in here. And I'm going to hit publish, and you're going to see a little bit more of a mess as we go in the gallery. So now the gallery has the page name. So if you wanted to go back into your file pile and name these a little bit better, that would be available to you. And then you could have a very nice display over here. And obviously this text can be styled with whatever you'd like to have it styled to look nice. But, and so then now the burden is on you. If you want to have a page name or a text or a teaser text underneath here, write something that fits, and then this gallery can be displayed in a variety of different ways. So lots of different configuration options for how this gallery could be displayed. And obviously this is not optimal. So I would turn that off inside of here. All right. So we have a couple examples of photo galleries. That's a nice piece over there. I'm turning off of links on page names and now publish. And I think that's all been cleaned up again. Let's refresh on this page. Yep. And yeah, we're back to where we were. Any questions on photo galleries? Nice little feature. Didn't want to spend too much time over there, but it's a nice little thing that you can flourish. If you have a catalog of some sort, probably better to use a data list or a filter block as opposed to photo gallery. But if you're doing something like the Dells or Irish Fest or coffee shop here, where you have a collection of feel-good images and you want to bring them up in some sort of slider display with individual collections and individual pages, the photo block is available for you to just point at a file pile, and pretty quick and easy, you can get a whole bunch of images up on your website. Any questions from that you guys are stuck on? Don't be shy. We have a little bit of time available. So if you have something that you individually have for your individual site that might bore the snot out of everybody else, but you're just dying to ask it, now is your chance. I see Tibber unmuted herself.
Yes, I did.
Right.
Good morning, everyone. My skills are very limited with Titan. So I do a lot of copying and pasting. I would like to change some of our images on our MagDot Transportation Services pages. And I'm just not having luck finding new images or where I can steal them from without us having to try and photos. So I was just wondering, where are some of the Milwaukee County photos saved, or am I not looking in the right places?
Yeah, I don't know if I can get into your individual workstation from here.
Okay.
Have you asked Kima Carlton or anybody on those staffs where those images are, if they have a collection available to you?
Not really, but I wasn't really sure where I should be looking either, if that makes any sense.
So in general, if your workstation permissions allow it, you're going to have these green things are globes, the yellow things are file folders, and these are databases. So your images are going to be in one of these yellow things here, the file folders. And so if you have access to it, if they've given you permissions to do that, you can just go click through here and basically, if there's files in there, let's find people. Am I not seeing? Here we go. Oh, this is a demo site. That's why we're not seeing anything. You're going to see images inside of here, and you have a variety of different views, list view, SEO properties view, global. Usually the thumbnail views is going to be the most useful thing to you. So just being able to see these thumbnails and then going browsing. once you find an image that if you have access and you can get in here, or once you find an image, you can double click on it. And then you can see if this has a size, if the original was 600 by 300, that might be big enough for your purposes. And then you can use it. Otherwise, if it was a thumbnail when it was originally uploaded, then it's going to remain a thumbnail. It might be 80 or 100 by 100 or something, and that might be too small. Or if it's an original, you might see, 3,000 by 4,000 in here. And those are the images that you could use. So you, within your rights, whatever they've given you rights to, you're free to go browsing through these folders on your instance and looking to see what's available in images that you could go mining for. If you can find stuff out in the wild that you have rights to use, inside of these folders, you can upload images. So if you found a new beautiful picture and you have rights to a folder, or you make a new folder, you click on create up here, and then you go upload, and then you go browse into your own picture folders and find your favorite picture and upload your image inside there. Click on it and you click open. And like we showed you before, you can more than one and click open, and you can put those into your folder, and that will show up whatever you have selected over here or whatever new folder you've made. And then those images are available to you to use. So that's all. Many of these things are going to say on how much permission, what permissions do you have.
Right.
I see I logged in and I see there's an image library. And there's another folder that says group and then public. Then there's a lot of folders in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go browse around, see what you can find.
Okay. I got to do a little browsing. All right. Okay.
Right. You can do a little browsing. It may be helpful to reach out to somebody and say, hey, where do we keep the photos of, park landscapes? Or
right. There's more transportation. So I'm like, okay, there's 90 million folders in this folder. Okay. To try, and I'm looking for more traffic related, tech related, construction related photos. And I stole one from, I don't even know where I stole it from. I was like, oh my God, I don't even know where I stole that from. And I just want to change it, but I don't remember. I don't remember how I changed it. It's a couple years. Okay.
Well, the other last thing, Timber, that you can do, if you find an image that you like and it's too big, or you don't need the whole thing, or you want to crop it down, you can go and you can edit an image and you can crop that image. And so if you just wanted a picture of this table over here, you can do that. Let's see if I can't get my mouse just right. I just want that part of the table. And now I can say done. And when I do it, it should have allowed me to save it.
So you haven't saved it yet, Patrick?
I haven't saved it yet. Okay. So when I clicked edit on that thing, where was the save as option, John? Did I miss that?
It's under publish.
Yeah, well, it's actually the save as option comes when you are in a freeform editor and open up the editing for an image, because here you're in the file pile and you're able to make those changes via the publish, right?
Yeah.
And like if you were to browse away and none of those changes that you selected would actually be saved. But the key being when you're in the WYSIWYG and doing it, you're saying was the perfect time for us to say, all right, I don't know that you necessarily want to change this original. Do you want to save it as something new so you can just work with this new thing and go from there versus, modify this image that probably a lot of people are using. You might not want to do that.
Yeah. So that's where I might want to go and just select the image and go up to actions and say, make a copy.
Make a copy.
Options in here, but I'm just going to copy standard copy. I'm going to put it in the same spot. It's going to give it a new name, but probably with a locations to, right?
Yep. Or a copy. Yeah.
Yeah. Locations to copy. So now I can go and I can work with that image and crop it down. So I'm making my own copy of it.
I think I can do that. I can handle copying and pasting.
There you go.
Right, thank you.
But yeah, and the image editor is kind of nice, but it's just the basics, right? Do a little cropping, maybe resize, maybe rotate. I have a dream that someday we might be able to optimize images, and because a lot of times you get those huge photos that you take on your phone or whatever, and it's like you don't need a 4 or 5 meg file, image. It would be nice to kind of compress that a little bit, but for the moment, just the basics.
All right.
Well, thank you so much.
All right. Anybody else? Joylyn, Lori, Sawyer? Any other questions you guys might have? Joylyn?
I don't know if this is, I don't know, this might be too specific. So at one time, I had gone in and corrected some image names, or not image names, asset names for our PDFs. And what I'm seeing is over the years, so we have page names, and then revision will add R1, R2 when we make a revision. So, and some of them when we initially launched our site already had revisions to them. So at some point I downloaded through Titan an Excel, I made all these changes and got rid of all the R1s. Periodically, I'm seeing them crop up again. Like I go to edit a page, I had it just happen. And R1 is there when it should just be, there shouldn't be an R1 there. So I don't know if that's happening. I don't know how that's happening because I did this a long time ago. And I know we've gone through versions of Titan, and I didn't know if maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah, probably not. I think, so you're saying that inside of here, you have an image name, one, and it had some R's or something on it. And then you did the whole download of all of the folders inside of here, the metadata for these.
The results, right.
Yep. And so if we go and we select all records and we do a download of this, these files, the metadata about this, not the actual image, et cetera, will come out into a spreadsheet. And then you made the changes to that spreadsheet.
And then I re-upload it.
Yeah. So this goes back a little bit to what Jon was talking about before, which is it's a little more subtle than that. So I'm going to try my best to explain this.
Okay.
The file path that you see in here and the file name is when you first upload it, it's kind of like permanently named that. We make sure underneath the hood that every asset in the system has a unique name. Titan tracks it inside of a database. What you're seeing on the folder structure and what you're seeing kind of with these names are useful tools for humans to understand how things are displayed, but underneath the hood, even if I rename this locations1.jpg, it's still going to, and I rename it to something else, it's actually not ever changing locations1 inside there. So there's a multi-step process you could do with like advanced search and replace if you wanted to really clean that up fully to make it there. But what you're getting on the naming of a file is a facade on the real name. It's a user-friendly extension we make to try to make it more friendly. And mostly this doesn't really matter because we keep track of files. That's how things, when you move it around, we never lose track of it because we know its original name. And there's no actual physical file structure inside of Titan. It's just a big database entry. We just keep track of everything.
You go to properties.
Yes. And so the properties are a little bit of an illusion. Jon might do a better job of explaining this, but if we go to properties here on one file.
Right. So this is what I would change. I would change the URL. I would change the page. I would change all of those aspects.
Yes.
And then I would have the alias would show up for the R1. So nothing would break.
Right.
But now it's like it reverts back after I've made all, because the problem, what's happening is if for some reason it reverts back, not all of them are reverting, just some of them. So when that happens, it could revert to a revision that's not accurate. So then when someone pulls that up, they might think they're not getting the most recent.
It'd be good to see an example of this if you, next time you encounter it, finding one, and we can kind of.
I think I just did one. Hold on, let me go back to it.
I'll admit it's not entirely intuitive. It also, for 99% of the time, doesn't really matter. But
right, yeah, this is all metadata about the actual asset. So it's, if somebody changed it and published, and then somebody came back and reverted it or changed it back and published it, then these bits and pieces could, appear differently. The file underneath is the same unless you did upload new version of the file.
And that's what I'm doing. Every time I go and edit these, I'm uploading a new file. So like some of them stay just the page number. Basically, we have individual catalog pages uploaded onto our site for people to grab.
Right.
And so this version is one that actually stayed. So at some point we were on revision 5. Well, when I uploaded revision 6, or between revision 5 and revision 6, I did that mass upload. I don't know on the timing because I don't deal with these on a regular basis. I changed it so the URL doesn't have that R5 in there anymore, but now that's an alias.
Right.
Well, I just went and uploaded a new one and it didn't have R6, but a lot of times I'll see where I know I changed all of these. We took all of those out.
Yeah.
All 16, 15 sections of our catalog we edited. And now, like I said, periodically that R1 shows back up as the URL. I think the URL is probably what I'm most worried about because as I update these, I change the PDF settings so that the page name is not the page or the PDF, the document name anymore. It's a document title. I'm editing the properties, and maybe it's not important at all. I don't know how, I haven't looked at the metrics on these and how much they're used, but I just kind of wondered, why does that keep happening? Like,
Yeah.
not
Let's
every
see
single
what-
one, it's periodic, and
Yeah.
I don't know the rhyme or reason for it.
My hunch is let's take a look at, let's just offline that I guess outside of this, but we can just pop into
Okay.
your workstation and take a look at it. Maybe just do a simulation and see what happens. And we'll play with one and see where you're saying it looks fine when you do it and then kind of later on it reverts some, or that it appears to revert.
Yeah, so like I said, I know I changed all of them and took out the R's, but
Yeah.
then I'll go in and I'll make a change to one and the R will be there again.
All right, let's take a look at your workstation. It's going to get real specific.
Okay.
All right, I will make a note and we'll have a follow-up on that. Any other questions today? And if not, thank you all for coming to office hours. As usual, we'll break these, the different things we talked about, drag and drop, photo gallery, we'll drape them into individual snippets and make those available online. Also, we are contemplating an adjustment to the format of this office hours. We've been doing this now for a number of months, and actually taking some of the questions that are submitted ahead of time and actually making short videos for those so we can get those released on a more periodic basis. So if you have a question that you think would be good for office hours, or just a question in general, and you don't mind us making a little video about it to put out to the rest of the world, it might be helpful to the rest of the community. Help support the community, submit a question, we'll make short little videos, and we release those on a more periodic basis. John and I get together once a week, review what has come in, and we'll put those out. And then we'll continue to this office hours format for whatever come in there, but we'll supplement it with some more videos as we go. So I'm looking forward to, especially if you guys have questions, love to hear them. All right. Thanks everybody for coming today, and enjoy the warm weather while it lasts if you're in the Midwest.
Thanks. Bye.